everyone, I just posted some instructions. If you're having any audio issues during today's webinar, you can read those in the chat feature. In today's webinar, we're going to demonstrate how to use some of our available add-on tools here at NextChapter, and these tools can help you stay more organized, communicate more effectively with your clients, and help you save time and energy on each of your cases. So today we'll go over Next Message, which is our client texting notification feature, My Chapter, that's our client debtor portal. We will then show you our NextChapter AI, Notices AI, and the hearing scheduler. So those go kind of hand in hand, and that's when we take all of your notices and we'll save them in your cases, and we'll start adding those hearing dates to your calendar automatically. So Mandy is going to get started by reviewing Next Message today, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so all of the tools that we'll be talking about today are add-ons. So I just wanted to start by showing where you can add these additional tools to your firm's account in NextChapter. So if you click on Account in the upper corner here and go to Account Add-ons, here's where you can see all the available tools that your firm can purchase to add into your account. So we'll be going over all of these, a majority of these today. If you want to purchase Next Message, which as Katie mentioned, that's our client texting service that we have, where you can send and receive text messages to your clients. You can do it in an automated fashion and kind of set up what we call recipes, and I'm going to show you how to set those up here in a minute. And you can also send and receive text messages directly through the case in NextChapter. This is $300 per year, and that's for unlimited text messages, sending and receiving to all of your clients. So even if it's a case that maybe is a lead and they haven't yet filed and maybe they never will file, you can still use that in NextChapter to communicate with them if you want to work towards converting them to a lead. And then cases that are filed, if you need to follow up for any additional information needed, you can do so as well. So it's nice that pretty much while you have this active on your plan, you can text with your clients using a local number that will assign to you. So you're not using your own personal number or having to set up a separate number for your law firm that you have to manage. We'll handle all that for you. And, you know, we've created this feature out of the response of hearing that, you know, a lot of the times one of the biggest setbacks in getting the case filed is the communication and getting the proper documents. And not all debtors have computers, so email isn't the most ideal way to go for all situations. But almost everyone at this point does have a cell phone and an ability to text. So the users that we have that have been using this, they've seen an increase in their communication that they've been able to do with their clients, being more effective and saving a lot of time, as opposed to being on the phone and trying to call and leave messages. And again, sometimes email doesn't work for everyone. So if you do want to add it, you come here and click Purchase. We'll let you know when this feature is going to renew. It is $300 per year, and we'll give you that renewal date in this section here. So then once you've purchased it, you can go to, you're going to receive some information in your email that's going to walk you through basically what we're going to show you today, but it's a nice guide to have and reference if you need to later on if you do add this in. Under our integration section, you can go to Next Message Client Text Notification, and this is where we're gonna set up all of your settings here. So at the top, when you first come in here, you won't see a number yet. You're gonna see a proposed area code based on the firm's location. So you can change this if you'd like, and we will do our best to assign you with a number based on that local area code here. And this is the number that you can give out to your clients to text once they get started here. So it'll be the same for all firms. Next, you can select between all of the accounts that you have saved within NextChapter for all of your users of who's going to be the default person to receive notifications via email every time your clients send a text. So this actually can be changed on a per case basis if you would like, but if you just want the same person every time to receive the notifications, you can change that here. And so then in this scenario, Katie would be the person to receive a simple and quick notification in their email when your clients send responses to any of the text messages. And again, you can override this on a per case basis. Here we have the option for you to turn on the canned spam automated message. And we show you what that's going to be here if you hover over this box. So this message is actually sent to the client after they receive the first message. So the first time you text any of your clients, if you have this turned on, they're going to receive a message that says, text stop to stop receiving messages from this firm. So it's something most people are going to be very familiar with. Anyone that does automated texting, they need to send these out so that they aren't spamming users. And if anytime your clients reply with stop, we'll go ahead and turn off the texting for that account. You also have the option to turn off texting for the account within the case too, so we do give you the control for that. But if you want to have this sent all the time, click this on. If you'd rather not have it, that's completely fine too. You can toggle to have this saved to off. So now this message is not going to be sent for those cases. Next, we have the option, I'm going to minimize these here and kind of go through. We have the option for you to send in recipes. When you first log in, you'll see one example recipe saved here, and it's going to be the post-filing course reminder. So I'm going to open that one up here. This is just a suggested one, and just kind of it's there as an example to give you an idea of what this would look like. Essentially, you can name the recipe anything you'd like, and it's going to be sending whatever text message you add in this box here based on the equation that you have saved here. So for example, I have set up for a post-filing course reminder. So I want the debtors to remember that they need to go and take their debtor education course. So I want that to be sent 7 days after the filing date, which is a date saved within NextChapter. And then you can indicate if you want it to be sent to both debtors if they're saved in there, or if you always want it to go to only debtor one. Saved in your settings, that again will be sent to all clients, but then on a per case basis, you can override and turn this off for anyone as well. Another nice thing we have here is you can select the preferred time of day. So if you would rather your clients receive them in the morning or the afternoon, that's completely up to you. But once you have this set here, you want to click on the blue Save Recipe button, and that saves it in. And then to kind of help get an idea of some different recipes that you can do, in our Help Center, we do have suggested recipes that are kind of set up for you can mock it exactly to how they are in here. Oh, that's not the one. So the one that says Attorney Suggested Recipes, you can go through here and see some of the ones. These are the ones we have saved in the case, just based on some general case flow of what may make sense, and you can tweak them as needed too. But there's even some suggested text that you could use in here to set these up. But it's really nice because once you set these up in NextChapter, these text messages are going to be sent out automatically for you. You don't have to have any of your support staff or any attorney sitting and typing these out. These are going to be sent automatically for you in each of your cases. So here's an example of the 341 hearing date. If you want to remind them a day before, any instructions like bringing their Social Security card, that they should arrive 30 minutes early. And then also, it's nice to have kind of a generic document reminder. It's almost guaranteed they're never going to have all of their documents in at the same time. So maybe after your initial consultation date, always just sending out an automatic text message to say, hey, just remember to get the rest of your documents in if you haven't already. So a nice little touch point. And these recipes are sent automatically, but your clients can respond to them directly. And again, whoever is receiving the emails will receive that notification, and it's also going to show in the case too. So I'm going to go ahead and move over into a case so we can have an idea of what this looks like. So once you get into the case here, the case does all of the text notifications down in this corner here. But to get started, you will need to have a mobile number saved for at least one of the debtors. If it's a joint case, I could add another and indicate it would be you'd have the option for debtor 2 here. But it will need to be saved as mobile, and then that way you will be able to text them directly through the case here. So I have a cell phone number saved for this one. So when I get started, I can come down to the next message text box here, and this is where I'm going to be able to see a history of all the text messages that have been sent and received in this case. As I mentioned, you can edit the settings on a per case basis. So when I clicked on this little wheel here, that opened the settings, and this is only specific for my case that I'm working on now. So if I want to change the default of who will receive the notifications, this could be the paralegal assigned to the case. If you'd rather they received it, you can change it here. You can also change the default setting of whether or not they're going to receive that can spam automated message. And then you can also just entirely disable the automated reminder. So if you have a client that you don't want any automated reminders to be sent, but you do want to be able to text them through the case, you would just select this here. And as you can see, that removed all of those message recipes. And now I can just use that box to text directly with the client directly in the case dashboard. And then just the same, you can go through and turn off any of these these recipes as well. So if there's something in here that doesn't apply, let's say this was a go-getter debtor and they brought me all documents on the very first meeting, I can turn this off so that we're not going to send that reminder to them. It's not necessary, and you can update that on a per case basis. And then we also have a link here if you want to go back to this will take you back to the settings. If you notice maybe you have an idea for another recipe that you want to add in, or if you need to edit any of these, this will just take you back to that page in the settings. Next, if it is a joint case, I will be able to click this here and select between the debtors, and if I want to send to both debtors. And then as I come in here, I can type in any messages that's going to go directly to the client. And again, once they respond, those will come directly to me in this section as well. Okay, so now I'm going to pass on to Katie to talk about my chapter.
My chapter can also be accessed via that if you click on account and then account add-ons in the menu bar. My chapter will be $500 per year, and that gives all of your clients, it's unlimited, access to a secure online client questionnaire. So after they have, you'll set up their case in NextChapter, and I'll show you where you can invite them, but they'll receive a unique link that will take them directly to their My Chapter Debtor Portal page. After they've entered all of that information in, you guys can correspond back and forth, and then it will be imported directly into their case. They also can upload documents in there. You have ability to review it all before importing. But to get started, you would purchase that in the add-on tools section. And much like NextMessage, it will renew 1 year from the date of purchase, and it'll tell you that renewal date in there. Once you have purchased that, you should go to Integrations and My Chapter Debtor Portal. So this works very similar to NextMessage in that you're going to set up your general settings through your account settings tab. And then within each case, you have the ability to customize these sections a little more, just the same as NextMessage works. But first, when you click on My Chapter Debtor Portal, this information at the top is going to be what your client sees. So when you send your client that link that they can click on, they're going to see your welcome message, your contact information. You can put your firm's logo in there. So it really looks like it's coming from you. As far as they're concerned, we don't even exist. So after that, you can also select the default user. So you'll receive email notifications whenever they've submitted information back to you, if they've sent any messages back to you. So the default user can be selected here, but it can also be changed on a per case level. Down here is where you can add any custom instructions. So these are going to be all of the sections that your client sees when they're invited and they're going through My Chapter. If you click on each of these sections, you can add some custom instructions. So let's say you're integrated with NextChapter's credit report feature. Maybe you want to tell them only put creditors into their case that aren't already on the credit report. So that way it saves them a bunch of time entering all of that, and you have the accurate information from the credit report. Maybe you don't even want them to enter creditors. So if you turn that off here, then they're not even going to see this creditors tab when they're entering their information. So these documents will give you a suggested document list for them to upload for you, but you can also customize that here too. So it's another way to just make sure that they're keeping tabs on all of the documents that you've requested from them. Once this is all set up, I'll go to the home page and go into an actual case. So if I go into Rob Stark here, at the very bottom of this middle section beneath the comments is our Debtor Portal section. So this is where we can enter in your client's email and click Invite Debtor. Once you have invited them to my chapter, this will update. It'll let you know you've invited them, and this status will change as your case is changing. So if your client submits information back to you, then this will change to ready to review. So it does, in addition to sending email notifications, it's also going to keep you notified just based on this Debtor Portal section. If you click on this icon here, you can change your settings for just this client. So this is customized for this client. You can change the user that you want to receive email notifications. And then you can also customize each section again. So perhaps you don't want this specific client to worry about their income. You'll do that in the office. Maybe you don't want them to do expenses. Maybe for farm and livestock, you want to tell them a few other details so that they can follow your custom instructions. So you can customize all of that, and then we'll click done, and that's saved for this client in their Debtor Portal. You will then have an option up here. You'll have another option in your menu bar to click on the Debtor Portal. So the Debtor Portal is going to show you an overview of all of your cases that you've invited. So here's our case names, when we've invited them, when they've submitted information back, and then when the finalized import is done. So there are a few ways to communicate through my chapter. Once the data is imported into the case, my chapter is frozen out. It cannot be changed anymore. The information would override, and we're under the assumption you're making your edits in your case, all of that. So definitely make sure my chapter is completed and make sure all of those documents that you want are uploaded, and then import it because at that time it's going to change to imported and there's nothing else to do here. You may also, sometimes people miss their emails. There's options in here to resend. Maybe you've sent it to Debtor 1 and now you want to send it to Debtor 2. So you can change the email. You can send it to multiple people. You can resend it. You can send any type of custom message along with the email that's going to give them that link back to my chapter. If I look in a case here, so the one that we just did, we've only invited someone. There's no other real status here other than invited, but I'm just going to click on something that's in progress, just to show kind of the features that you can do within my chapter as well. So this page, my chapter is set up a lot like NextChapter, where they're going through client information, contact info, and they're adding in anything that you would just enter in directly into their case too. So it definitely would save you a bunch of data entry. These up here would be the sections. So if we turned off any of these in settings, they wouldn't be visible on here. And then this is where any of those custom instructions would show. So anywhere where you typed in additional instructions, those would be in here. They can submit documents, they can add them, upload them from their computer, and then they'll submit back to you. So once they've submitted information to you, it gets changed to ready to review, and then you can come in and review everything. So now this is what the user would see. This is not what the debtor sees. There's a few review tools. So if you want to quickly fix letter capitalization, you can click that. So if anything's in all caps, all lowercase, you want it to look nice and neat, you can quickly push that and it'll change everything that they've entered. You can go through all of the sections and make any edits in here. You can also edit it after you've imported it into the case, whatever your preference is. But you have the option to edit anything in here, and maybe you go to documents and they didn't add anything. So now we want to send it back to them. You can now send it back to them and say, hey, you forgot to upload your documents. Submit that back to the debtor. They're going to get an email again, they'll get a link again, and then they can come in and add their documents. Once that's all done, they're submitting again. So I'm kind of going through from client to attorney here. And now let's say they've sent it all back and it looks good. We have a few options here too. So other than just importing it directly into the case, you can come download this as a PDF. If you would like to review it this way, if you'd like to just keep this on file and retain it with your records, you can. it just exports all of the data in a nice little client PDF packet. So anything that they put in here, it's all going to be on this client profile PDF that you can download at any time. And then finally, you can import it. So once you've imported it, like I said earlier, this is the final step in my chapter. My chapter is no longer usable after you've imported it, so it's just giving us a second warning. We'll import it, and now all of that information went into the case. So now when we go back into my chapter in April O'Neill's case, it's all of that information will be in there. So that's the basics for my chapter. Another feature that we have is called Notices AI. Notices AI is free for our Pro and Woe accounts. It's included with that subscription. And then it is $200 per year for the Start and Grow plans. So that can also be purchased through your settings tab. And what this is a feature where we will be added as a secondary email address on your Pacer account, and we will save all of your one free looks. So our developers have built an awesome parsing system, and these notices are saved almost immediately after we start receiving them. So you'll notice if you file a case through NextChapter, if you go in that case about 2 minutes later, there's your notices. But this is the quick view. So down here at the bottom right is the quick view that you can then expand to show all notices. So from here, there's 2 tabs. We're going to have your notices inbox, and this is going to show you anything that you haven't yet read. Once something is read, it's going to go into this general all notices folder. So all of the things that are read will be in here, and then the inbox is just things that you haven't viewed yet. We will save all of your notices. We're looking for a case name match and a case number match. We'll save them directly to your case. So you have this inbox that has everything, whether there's a case in NextChapter or not, but also within each case, you're going to have an additional documents Pacer notices folder. In this folder, these notices are case specific. You can come in here and view them, download them, delete them, and then they do have types assigned to them. So whether it's a proof of claim, a hearing, or a notice, that's done automatically by NextChapter. We will classify the type of the notice. But if I go back now to the home page and in that inbox, if you want to have all of your notices saved per case, let's say we have a notice here and we want to save this to a case. So I want to start collecting all of the notices in a particular folder for a case. So let's just click Assign Case. You can then click Create New Case, and then you can just put in the name, choose your division, the chapter, just to keep it organized, and then put in that case number. So the case number is what we are matching. So make sure that case number matches directly what's on the actual attachment. Click Save and Close, and now we have a new case created in NextChapter. It has started a case for us. If you don't, there's not really anything you need to do with it other than know that in additional documents, Pacer notices, it's going to save that individual notice, and all incoming notices for this name match and case number match will be saved in this folder. And then if you want to quickly too, like if you want to keep your inbox clean, you can click Mark as Read. Once you mark them as read, they disappear and go into your All Notices folder. You can quickly mark them all as read and they'll all go in. And then these are here forever. So we don't ever purge any data. We don't ever remove these. These are going to stay in your Notices AI inbox for as long as you have an open account with NextChapter. Another feature that these Notices AI includes is a hearing scheduler, and Mandy is going to briefly go over that now.
So with the notices that we are receiving from your Pacer account, we are able to parse out hearing dates and then general reminder dates too. So I'm going to go into the case for Rob Stark here. We've got a couple saved into this case to kind of show you what that looks like. So one of the notices that was saved to this case is for the meeting of creditors. And so with this notice, I can view here, and actually see all of the hearing details, this is the information that our parsing system will pull out and save directly into the case for you. Oops, I just clicked on the court site. So to show you what that looks like, it's going to save in two places. One, it's going to save directly into the case in the case dashboard under events. So here's that 341 hearing, and that same notice also had the future confirmation hearing date. So what's nice is both of these were automatically added into this case for me. And then if I click on these to view more information, or I can even edit them, and that's going to pull up the full screen here. It's nice because it's going to show me the exact time and then all of the hearing information. And then same with the confirmation hearing here. I can view that. In the event location, we'll save in any of the information that's in the notice. So if it tells us what courtroom it's going to be in, what judge it'll be with, the court's address, it's nice. All of that saves directly in here automatically. Then if you use Next Message as well, then you can actually decide if you would like a text message to be sent beforehand to remind the client of this hearing. So if I choose to do a text message, it's going to send a message to Rob Stark here that says that there's a reminder that there is a hearing coming up. It's going to give the date, the time, and the location. So again, you can come in here and set text messages for reminders as well. With the 341 hearings, we also save that information into the filing information section of the case here. So the 341 date is saved along with the time in this section here, which is nice. And then this is also used when we will send out any of those recipes. Again, if you use Next Message, we're going to use these dates. So if you were to use the NextChapter AI in addition to Next Message, it really will help to streamline and automate your process, because through this system, we're automatically saving in these dates for you and reminding your client of the upcoming hearings, and you're not having to do anything for that. One additional feature, which I think is pretty awesome and again helps with the Streamline, is that not only can you have it saved here in NextChapter, but we're going to show those dates here in your firm's calendar. So here's that 341 hearing. So everyone for the firm can kind of see what's coming up, what hearings are going to be on the schedule for the week or for the month. And I can edit it directly from here as well. Then if I want to save this onto my personal calendar as well, I can click on Sync Calendar and choose between Google, iCalendar, or my Outlook. We have the instructions here to show you how to add this in, but essentially for all three of them, you're going to be saving this URL and adding a new calendar to your personal calendar. And then you're going to have all of these hearing notices syncing directly to your own calendar. So you're going to have the same information in all spots, and you can stay, much more organized with your hearing dates and keeping track of what's coming as well. Another thing that gets saved in addition to the hearings are going to be deadlines. So if there's a notice that's sent out to let you know about a filing fee deadline, if there's a deficiency notice and there's some additional documents that need to be filed in the shell case, those will be added, and then also any proof of claim deadlines. And again, those get added directly into the case if there is a case, and then it will save to the calendar here too. Okay, well, I think that covers all of the additional add-on tools that are available here in NextChapter. We always have new things coming out as well, but if you have any questions about any of these features, how to get started or how to add it on, you can always reach out to us via the chat. We've got the chat bubble down here, sends directly to us. And then we've also have a lot of resources for all of these features in our Help Center too. They have specific sections dedicated solely to them. So if you have any questions as you're getting going, make sure to take a look at that as well. That could be a huge resource to help you get using these features as soon as possible. Okay, thank you.